Welcome to the Selling to Corporate podcast, where we're going to be challenging your sales beliefs around selling to corporate organizations and help you increase your bottom line profits every single month. I am Jessica Lorimer, your sales expert and guide in this world of selling to corporate companies, skyrocketing your company sales and making the impact that you really want in the world. Now, don't forget, if you do enjoy the show today, please do head over to iTunes and leave us a review. But enjoy this episode, and I am really looking forward to sharing some epic sales wisdom with you. Happy July. And for most of you who listen, you do have children, so welcome to the summer holidays. I am very excited this summer. I'm actually taking 3.5 weeks off in August. I cannot wait. Owen is going to be home. We're going to be exploring the north. So if you have any good recommendations for things that we absolutely must visit, please let me know, because due to various job restrictions on his part, we are not going to be able to leave the UK for a little while, which is awesome because we've only just moved up north. This is a good opportunity for me to explore the place that we live in. And I hear that the north of England has some incredible beaches and some incredible ice cream, all of which I'm a big fan of. It's going to be a fabulous August. And if you are joining me as somebody who is about to head into the summer holidays with your children, then you are a superhero, because I know that the next 6 to 8 weeks, depending on where you are in the world, is going to be a challenge for also working. So if you've got lots of rest time planned, and if, like me, you don't have children or various pets to contend with over the summer, then enjoy. I hope you're making some time to rest, read a couple of books, chill out, maybe get the old paddling pool out, because apparently in the UK, we are supposed to be having a heat wave. I have mixed feelings and reservations about this, because usually the weather person lies, but on good authority and sadly some climate change issues, we may have it a little bit warmer than normal. So I'm very, very excited to celebrate the summer with you. And there are some exciting things coming up. For those of you who have been listening for a little while and who are also on our fabulous newsletter list, you will know that we've got an exciting announcement about C-suite. We actually have 2 exciting announcements, but one of them is more exciting for me, I guess, than for you. The first announcement that we have about the C-suite is that the price is going to change on September the 1st. There are lots and lots of reasons around this. And if you continue reading my emails over the summer, I've actually got a really, really cool newsletter planned in August for you about the way that you can focus on raising your prices and why you shouldn't be afraid to be a premium resource for corporate clients. And I'm taking a leaf out of my own book and looking at all of the amazing success stories, case studies, testimonials, wins, and the fact that we have managed to, over the last 5 years, continuously create epic experiences with the C-suite, continuously update and make sure that the information is phenomenal and designed to get you the best results. And of course, have it as a really key learning experience with swipe files of templates and proposal templates and techniques that you can literally take and use in your business today. I am going to be raising the price on September 1st. If you have been on the fence and considering the C-suite for a little while and you want to get in before the price raise, definitely drop me a line if you have any questions. Remember, my job is never to hard sell to you in any way. It's just to make sure that you get all of the information that is relevant to you so that you can make the best decision for you, right? If you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate. Reach out, drop me a line. I'm always emailing people anyway. It's nice to be the one that's emailed once in a while. And if you have any questions about your specific business, how it can support you with where you're at, whether it's the right choice for you, I reply personally to every single email. And I have made some dedicated time over the summer, even with my extensive time off, to come back to any questions that we do get. Might be a little bit slower than normal, but you will get a personal response from me. So if you do have any questions, just drop me a note. The second exciting announcement about the C-suite, for those of you who haven't already heard, and again, this is why, if you haven't heard, get on the newsletter list, sign up for literally any free thing on my website, and you will be able to be on there. We have announced that there is going to be a September sprint for the C-suite, and I am unbelievably excited about it. I have already prepped all of the tasks that are going to take advantage of the fantastic time of the year that September is to sell to corporate companies. If you don't know all the reasons why September is the best time to sell to corporates, especially if you have a best practice sales process, then go and check out any of my episodes from 2020, 2021, 2019, where I every single month every single year, even in September, go through exactly why it's the best time. And then you can decide if you also want to get my direct feedback, support, and accountability inside the C-suite this summer. Because the sprint is back, and the September sprint involves weekly tasks that are strategically aligned with the way that companies operate in September and in Q4 as a whole. So that's going to take all of the guesswork and planning out of the way that you approach September, especially if you need a bit of a kickstart, if you're taking any time off or you are putting your business on pause a little bit over the summer. It's a really, really good way of not having to think about what you need to do in September, and instead just being given clear instructions, clear templates, clear tasks to focus on. It's also going to include weekly group implementation calls on Zoom. They are all on Wednesdays, bar one, at 1 p.m. UK. For those of you who normally think, oh gosh, I'd have to get up really early to attend any calls with Jess because she's in the UK. Actually, it's a very reasonable 8 a.m. for most of the world. You will have weekly implementation calls with me where you will be able to implement confidently, practice sales skills in a safe learning environment, and of course, get to pick my brains live on Zoom, which is always a joy. And you will also get direct support and accountability and questions answered. Not to mention things being reviewed. So if you have any messaging, any proposals, any offers that you want me to take a look at, you will have access to me for 6 weeks inside a pop-up Facebook group where I'll be giving feedback on all of those things and a whole lot more. It really is an awesome opportunity to get my eyes directly on your business, get my feedback, support, and accountability directly to kickstart your Q4. And if you have not signed up yet, then you want to do so now for the price raise and for the fact that you're going to get me speaking into your business for 6 whole weeks, which is some of my clients actually might be like, that's Jess getting straight in there, looking specifically at me and hyper focusing on the things that I'm doing. But I promise you, it's a really, really good way of maximizing your results in Q4. Even if you're thinking, oh, but Jess, you always say that September's the best time to sell to corporate, so I'm just going to give it a go on my own. Okay, that's cool and absolutely fine and absolutely right. But I will always warn you to go back to those episodes that have previously been recorded in 2019, 2020, and so on, where I do explain that it's the best time to sell if you know what you're doing. So please always take it with that caveat. If you are happy, confident, your sales process is already working out for you, great. Maybe you don't want to make any efficiencies and stuff right now. Maybe you're fine with the revenue you're generating. You're all cool with your close rates. No drama. But if you are not, if the first year or the first half of this year hasn't gone to plan, or you feel like you're winging it, or you're not signing as many premium corporate clients as you want, now is going to be the very best time to get into the C-suite, set yourself up for success in Q4. And you've even got time to use our summer plan, proven summer plan in the portal as well. If you do have an hour to 2 hours a week over the summer where you want to implement and set yourself up for success. Now, back to the originally scheduled episode. That was very fancy, wasn't it? I feel like today I have to do a really pro podcast episode because today I'm talking about celebrity case studies. Specifically why celebrities are selling to corporate clients, what we can learn from that, and a few ideas in between. Why do I feel like I have to do a really pro episode? Well, most of you, whilst listening to Selling to Corporate, also listen to very esteemed other celebrity podcast shows. If anyone's ever listening to Diary of a CEO and fancies telling Stephen Bartlett I'm a bit of a legend, I won't stop you. I will not stop you sending that LinkedIn message to him. But in all seriousness, we are in an age where celebrities are selling more to corporate organizations than ever before. And I think it's an interesting thing to watch, because when we start talking about it, people are like, oh yeah, it's a really new thing. Celebrities are selling like well-being services to corporates now. And if you think about it, it's really not. Celebrities working, partnering, being sponsored by corporate organizations has happened for a long, long time. And I want to dig into, in today's episode, some of the ways that that is changing, what you can learn from it, how you can apply that knowledge to your own sales strategies. But I also want to take a second to think about why I'm bothering to record this particular episode today. Like, why would I not just sit back and focus on another how-to episode or something? And the simple reason is that celebrities are everywhere right now, and they're everywhere being paid by companies. And I know that they're everywhere because celebrity partnerships have finally made it into my inbox. I don't historically follow tons of influencers or tons of celebrities as a general category, but I got an email a couple of weeks ago from my mum, and I do read my mum's emails, obviously. And she messaged me to say that she'd got this email from Joe Wicks, who she follows. And she said that she got this email from Joe Wicks and forwarded it across to me to say that Joe Wicks wants to work with more organizations. And he was asking his, I imagine, large email list of audience members to recommend him to companies that they were working for, because he wants to go in and do more with corporate companies. He wants to sell more well-being programs. And my mum, bless her, sent me this email and she said, I don't think that Joe Wicks really knows what he's doing with business development. Maybe you should give him a call and like ask if he wants you to help with his B2B sales strategy. And anyone who has a parent that is invested in their success will know that is the most wholesome thing they can ever do for you. So it was very nice. And I looked at this email from Joe Wicks and I thought, wow, that is interesting. And then about a week later, or it must have been a couple of weeks later, a few of my friends went to Glastonbury because they're much cooler than me. And they saw him there delivering a class at like 9 a.m. of high intensity workouts to Glastonbury festival goers. And I was reminded not only of how Joe Wicks was wanting to progress his B2B sales career, but also to the way that festivals have changed. When I went to Reading Festival and Isle of Wight Festival as a late teenager, early 20-something, I tell you what I was not doing at 9 a.m. the night after seeing like cool bands play. And that was not, I was not doing high intensity cardio at all. I was sleeping and trying to avoid the Portaloo situation. I thought to myself, well, I'm probably not going to cold pitch Joe Wicks, but I think we should have a bit of a conversation about celebrity culture and why celebrities are making that decision to move into more corporate partnerships than necessarily just being sponsored by companies to wear their clothes or being paid to endorse products. And also what that means for the average entrepreneur, the average salesperson for their own business. Let's talk about this celebrity endorsement sponsorship product production piece. Is it new, firstly? And the answer is no. It's absolutely not new in any way, shape, or form for celebrities to work with companies. We have seen it most commonly in things like sponsorship, in partnerships, in product placement, in influencer deals and brand partnerships. And if you think about pretty much any brand you have ever used, at some point in time, it has been endorsed by, partnered with, or featured by a celebrity, right? It could be a health and wellness brand. So it could be in the dieting space. It could be in the health and wellness gadget space. Think about how many celebrities have endorsed Zoe recently as a product. It could be in the product placement or usage space. So think about clothing brands that you might buy from or that your spouse, friends, family may buy from. The most common, obviously, being like Kylie Jenner had this huge, or I assume still does, huge makeup range, and lots of celebrities promoted it, right? And then, of course, we have other things. So we have services that are provided by celebrities. So we have celebrities that will go into organizations and do keynote talks and provide their own apps. So we have celebrities right now who are selling in health and wellness apps to organizations because they have created some kind of diet or they've been through some kind of health issue or experience, and they want to share that with organizations and the people who work in them. So think about the menopause space and the celebrities who have been discussing menopause extensively, writing books, creating courses and whatever. Just because it's not new also doesn't mean it's good or bad, right? And I think this is an interesting point because I think that there are lots of celebrities who have lots of revenue streams. One of their revenue streams is obviously selling B2B. Why wouldn't it be? It's a great revenue stream. I tell everybody that they should absolutely be using it, focusing on it, and developing a business to business revenue stream. Does that mean that I think celebrities are always the best qualified to deliver some of the services that they're selling into corporates? Does it mean that I think that celebrities endorsing products or programs or services to organizations is always useful, or that they're always promoting the best or right fit solution for an organization? No, absolutely not. And that's because, unfortunately, we have this rise in celebrities endorsing things or creating products and programs and services that are about their own lived experience and not necessarily because they have any other expertise. Now, I'm not diminishing at all the recognition that we should have around lived experience. There are, especially in the diversity, equity, and inclusion categories, there are some things that we don't have studies on yet. We don't have experts necessarily in yet, and that lived experience is a huge part of. Does it mean, though, that every celebrity has gone on to qualify in those areas, or that they have real life working experience in those areas, or that they've developed skills in those areas other than just selling them and their own experiences? Sadly not. And so that means that a lot of organizations are buying from celebrities because they're buying into a brand, and they're, essentially saying to their company and their employees, look, we've spent lots and lots of money getting this celebrity in to deliver our well-being program or to do a series of videos for you about self-promotion. Why aren't you happy? Instead of necessarily buying from the right suppliers. Now, you might be thinking at this point, oh, Jess, are you giving us an out here? Are you saying that celebrity culture means that it's highly unfair and that there's not a level playing field for normal people and entrepreneurs trying to sell their services to corporates? And are you saying that actually it's not my fault if I'm not selling as much as I want to? And the answer, dear reader, is no. And a little bit of yes. Yes, there is an uneven playing field because it is easy for organizations to buy from celebrities. They talk a lot more about what they're doing for a start, and they are usually quite happy to leverage any relationships that they may have themselves, that their publicists may have, etc., to get into organizations. And over the last 18 months alone, there have been some really interesting choices from organizations to hire celebrities in areas that I don't think are particularly relevant. For example, I know that lots of organizations have had entrepreneurs in, like Stephen Bartlett, to talk about well-being. Now, I actually don't have anything against Stephen Bartlett. I think his podcast is really cool in that it brings a lot of really interesting people to the table and explores some really interesting things. Do I, though, think he should be the face of well-being for certain organizations based on his skills, qualification, and experience? No, nobody does, because he's great at being an entrepreneur. He's great at doing all of that. But I don't know that he's the best person to give advice on health and wellness. even though arguably Stephen Bartlett has talked way more about health and wellness than I ever have or will do. But organizations have brought him in because they have a need, they have a problem, and maybe it's been recommended. Maybe it's the brands that he works with, has founded, has influence within, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And I promise you that I'm not anti-SB. Like, I think that he's done some incredible things. But I also know that there are lots of clients of mine out there who have actually taken a lot of certifications, have spent a lot of money on their own professional development in areas like nutrition, in female health, in performance, in brain health, mental health, lots and lots of areas that he might not necessarily have had the time, opportunity, or inclination to do yet. So do I think that companies are always getting the best service from celebrities? No. However, does that mean, or does that excuse us from being able to sell to companies? Because some people will listen to this and they'll go, oh yeah, but Jess, basically what you're saying is that if I'm not insert name of celebrity here, I'm probably not going to be able to sell as much of my programs, products, and services as they are. And that's not true. I actually know and have a lot of clients who sell to companies far more often than celebrity counterparts in similar industries. And I actually have clients who charge more than celebrity counterparts for things like keynotes, programs, or licensed trainings that they're delivering and things like that. And that is not because they have that huge brand behind them. It's not because they have the millions of followers on social media platforms. It's because they have a really good sales process. And it's because as an entrepreneur themselves, they understand that it is not simply enough to be a genuine expert in a space to be able to sell. It's about developing that confidence and competence in their own sales process to give them more opportunities, right? If we think back to a few weeks ago, I did an episode when I'd come back from LA. I talked about the power of identifying opportunities, creating opportunities for yourself, and pushing forward with opportunities. Here I am now saying you want to be creating, cultivating, pushing forward opportunities by having a sales process that works for you. And to be clear, it's whatever sales process works for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be mine. I'd prefer it was, but we are where we are. Everybody does things differently. But what I want to actively encourage you to do is not to see this as loads of celebrities are making loads of money selling to corporates and that means that I can't. Actually, I want you to look at this as lots of celebrities are highlighting issues around topics that I actually have a lot more expertise and skill to resolve, create transformation around, create awareness, deliver differently so that companies get a better result. And if I had a better sales process, I would be creating more of those opportunities, cultivating more of those opportunities, and signing more deals. Because that's the real kicker here, is that when you're listening to a podcast like this one, my assumption is always that you're listening to the podcast because you want to develop your sales process further. You want it to be better. You want it to do something different than what it currently is. Because if you already had a perfect sales process that was working in an amazing way for you, you probably wouldn't be spending, a couple of hours every fortnight listening to me bang on about what it really looks like. Yeah. So when we talk about this idea that we want to create opportunities, we want to create results for our businesses, we want to be working with companies where we can genuinely make impact at a large scale, we have to accept that the natural part of that is to develop a sales process that allows us to do it. Yeah. And that's what all of the other episodes on this podcast help you do, which is handy. But it's also what the C-suite is designed to help you do in a quicker and simpler way, where you can swipe my exact strategies, techniques, swipe files, and templates to help you do that without having to overthink, procrastinate, worry about whether you're doing something in the most perfect way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I always want you to take a step back and think about, it's not being upset at the fact that celebrities are selling to corporates and doing really well. I think it's great. It highlights those opportunities. It creates awareness. It's, a good thing, but it also leaves a lot of opportunity that is available for experts just like you, just like me, to make different sales processes and choices around our sales processes that allow us to be more effective. Now, the final thing that I want to say is, what can we learn from celebrities selling to corporate companies? Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a back step here, and I'm not going to use the celeb world to highlight this particular example, but instead I want you to take a step back and think about all of the time that you have been in the personal development, professional development, online marketing, education space, where you've been getting access to resources from coaches, from consultants, from people you download freebies from, like wherever you're getting your information about building your business. You get celebrities in our space, right? I look at people like Simon Sinek and Brené Brown, and, if I met Brené Brown in an airport, I'd probably be like, oh my God, I'm so starstruck. My husband wouldn't know who Brené Brown is. Wouldn't recognize her in a supermarket, right? We have our own, in our own industries, in the information consumption areas of our worlds, we have our own celebrities. And if we start to look in the personal development space, in the professional development space, in the online marketing space, we're seeing some really big people, some really big coaches with huge audiences, some really high-end speakers who speak on some incredibly emotive, personal topics, some great authors who are not necessarily talking about things that encourage companies to make profit, or even that encourage people to make profit. We're seeing people in the relationship space, in the health and wellness space, in the, podcasting space, in the personal development spaces, in the coaching, life coaching, marketing spaces. Huge audiences selling to companies. They're delivering speaking events for organizations. They are speaking on stages for organizations. They are being sponsored and having their events sponsored by organizations. They are doing brand partnerships with organizations. And I think that this is really important to know, because when we look at people in the B2C world, we can sometimes get caught up in, wow, they've got, a gazillion Instagram followers, so they must be making tons of money. And that is not the conversation that I'm having behind the scenes at all. Over the last year, and I've been really upfront about it on the podcast and in my emails, I've had lots of conversations with people who have huge audiences, but who want to create more reliable revenue streams, who are tired of some of the things and experiences that they're having in the online world. And what I think we can learn from that as entrepreneurs who are either in the world of selling to corporate organizations already, or who are exploring this idea of selling to corporate organizations, is that if celebrities, either celebs or industry celebrities, are leveraging lucrative corporate opportunities, so should you. You should be prioritizing it too. You should be taking the opportunity to create more reliable, predictable sales streams. And B2B sales revenue is one of the ways that you can do that. It's not the only way, but it is one of the ways that you can do that. And that's why I would encourage you over the summer, if you're somebody who's thinking, oh, I should explore selling, to companies, maybe that's something that I should be doing, to make a decision on it. And the decision really comes down to, do I want predictable revenue that I can control with activities that are measurable? Or do I want to actually spend my time building a personal brand to become an influencer? Because that really is the choice in selling B2B versus B2C. And I say that as somebody who is woefully aware of that choice. And if you're somebody who's already selling to companies, but you are not generating the revenue or impact that you want to currently, I want you to have a little think over the summer and think about, actually, what do I want differently? Do I want to use this opportunity in this digital age where I can choose to create a sales process that works for me to actually build my revenue, but also build my sphere of influence to become the go-to person in my space, my industry, my discipline? And if you do, that starts with your sales process. It doesn't start with becoming an influencer on LinkedIn. It really starts with the conversations you're having with the right stakeholders and the quality of those conversations. That is what gets your thoughts into the atmosphere. That is what gets you being recommended and referred. That's what gets you a steady stream of qualified inbound leads. And spoiler, there is going to be an episode this summer on inbound leads and why they shouldn't be the only things that you're aiming for. But we love a warm, qualified inbound, right? Everyone does. Have a think to yourself about those questions over the summer and make that decision for September. Because like I say, September is that point in the year where it feels like a new year. We've got renewed energy after resting. We are coming back to things fresh of mind. And if you are deciding to take your B2B sales process forward and you want my eyes on your business, then make sure that you jump into the C-suite now before the price goes up and before the September sprint bonus disappears, all happening on September the 1st. I will see you in the upcoming episodes over the summer. We've got some great case study episodes coming up with some fabulous C-suite clients. And I've got, obviously from my spoiler I mentioned earlier, an episode all about inbound lead generation. So if that's something that you've been interested in and you want to explore some of the ways that you can cultivate inbound lead generation that are high quality leads, then you're going to want to stick around. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a fabulous start to the holidays.